Today we're going to practice writing the equation of a line. Notice below I've written out our point-slope formula. Let's identify its parts. First, let's identify the point part of the point-slope formula. That would be our y1 and our x1 here. We will get those from a set of coordinates, or an ordered pair. You've been learning about these for quite a while now. We also have m, which is our slope. And I know it's a little confusing because slope doesn't have an m in it, but m is always going to stand for slope in our equation formula. And then you're going to notice that we have a leftover x here and a leftover y here. And for most of my students, I find that those are the parts that confuse them the most. The reason for that is because everyone is ready to plug something in and they're not used to seeing that there's still something left over. They want to fill in every letter with some number. Remember though that when we get an equation of a line, it will be something like y equals 3x minus 4. Notice we have an x here and a y here still in our equation. So it's really important that you remember you will have one x and one y left over after you've plugged in everything that you're supposed to. Let's try some examples. Here, we have to find our two parts. So, I always make a list before I get started. The two things I'm looking for are going to be my m, my slope, and an ordered pair, set of coordinates. Without these, I can't solve or write an equation of a line, so they're really important. So always make this list first and go find all this information before you try to write the equation of your line. For example, here I've been given a slope, m equals 5, and a point, 3, 4. Okay, now we're ready to get started. First, I want to label my 3, 4, my ordered pair, as x1, y1. I always label them to be sure that I don't accidentally plug the wrong number into the wrong place. Now we're ready to plug our numbers into our formula. If you recall, our formula is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Let's plug our numbers in. We have y minus 4 is equal to 5 times x minus 3. Notice this 4 came from here, this 5 came from here, and this 3 came from here. Now we're ready to simplify. The first step is always going to be to distribute. So we have y minus 4 is equal to 5x minus 15. Next, we want to move the 4 away from the y, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides of my equation. And I end up with y equals 5x minus 11. This is my final answer. Let's try another. Again, I've been given a slope and a point. Notice that on this point, my x1 coordinate is a 0. What that means is that this ordered pair is actually going to be my y-intercept. So for some of you, you may be able to go through and solve it a slightly easier way. I'll show this one to you two different ways. First, let's do it the way we did before. So we have y minus y1, which is 6, is equal to m, which is 3, times x minus 0. Okay, our first step is to distribute. So we have y minus 6 is equal to 3 times x, 3x, and 3 times 0, which is 0, so we don't need that on here, right? So you don't actually need to include this minus 0 at all. Our next step is to move the 6 from the left side of the equation to the right. So we're going to add 6 on both sides. And we have y equals 3x plus 6. Now, like I was saying a moment ago, if you realize that you have a y-intercept for your coordinates, you can also go ahead and plug this into your y equals mx plus b formula right from the beginning. And on this kind of problem, it will save you a lot of time and energy. So if you remember, b is your y-intercept. Label that here. If you get this kind of problem, then you can just say y equals, plug in your m, have that here, 3x, plus, and we have our y-intercept here. And again, that's our y-intercept because we have a 0 in the x spot. And you'll notice that that's exactly the same equation that we already got a moment ago using our previous formula. Let's try another one. Oh no, on here we don't have our slope yet. So our first step on this problem has to be to find our slope. If you recall, our slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we need to label our coordinates. So we have x1 and y1, x2 and y2. Alright, let's plug our numbers in. So we have m equals 8 minus 2 over 6 minus 4. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 minus 4 is 2. And then we reduce that. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. That means that our slope is 3. Now we're ready to plug into our formula. We don't have any like we did on the last slide where we are already given our y-intercept. So we have to use our point-slope formula. The y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So we're going to plug in our numbers. Y minus 2 is equal to 3 times x minus 4. Now we need to distribute. And multiply our 3 through here. So we have y minus 2 is equal to 3x minus 12. We want our y by itself, so we add 2 to both sides. We get y equals 3x minus 10. This is the equation of our line. Several students always want to know, does it matter whether I use my x1, y1 coordinates, or could I actually use my x2, y2 coordinates in this one? And the truth is that when you plug your numbers into our point-slope formula here, it doesn't matter which set of coordinates you use, as long as you use the same ordered pair for both your x1 and your y1. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.